Suprabhat Tatha Namaskar. A pleasant morning, everyone. In an era where technology infuses every aspect of our lives, it is imperative that our innovations are not only groundbreaking, but also ethically sound. Ethical innovation for societal welfare underscores the responsibility of leveraging technological advancements to empower individuals, promote inclusivity, ensure sustainability, and protect privacy. I welcome you all, the dignitaries, guests, and delegates to this second session on technology, ethical innovation for societal welfare. May I now call upon Dr. Raghuraj Rao to kindly escort Shri Venkatesh Patil, our session chair, and our dignitaries, Shri Enavamsi Enaganti and Shri Yadnyanarayan Kammaje to the dais. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce to you all Dr. Raghuraj Rao. Dr. Raghuraj Rao is the Chief Executive Officer of EXA Technology Private Limited since August 2016 and the Director of Aqua Alloys Private Limited, Shinoli, Maharashtra. A distinguished chemical engineer, graduated from NIT K. Surathkal. Sir holds an MTech from IIT Mumbai and a PhD in chemical engineering from National University of Singapore, specialization in process optimization and data analysis techniques. It's my honor to introduce you all Shri Venkatesh Patil, one of the well-known businessmen of Belgavi. He is also a trustee of Prabuddha Bharat Belgavi. He runs a company, Belgaum Oxygen Private Limited, our own O2 man. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now request Shri Venkatesh Patil, sir, to felicitate Shri Yadnyanarayan Kammaje with a memento.
Also help them to make more money.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. Raghuraj Rao to felicitate Dr. Shri Enavamsi Enaganti. Thank you, sir. May I request Advocate Mahesh Kulkarni to felicitate Shri Venkatesh Patil. May I request Shri Anand Bukebag to felicitate Dr. Raghuraj Rao. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now request Dr. Raghuraj Rao to introduce our dignitaries, Shri Enavamsi Enaganti and Shri Yadnyanarayan Kammaje.
Honor to introduce an extraordinary thinker and visionary, Shri Enavamsi Enaganti ji, a designer, scientist, and innovator who embodies a spirit of curiosity and or technicians, and it has really given a lot of interesting and positive results and benefits to the society. We are honored to have you, sir, for this session. Welcome to you.
Thank you, sir. This session will have 25 minutes of deliberation by each speaker and 20 minutes for question answers. May I now request Dr. Raghuraj Rao to take over the session.
Thanks, Professor. Yeah, we have two interesting talks. We will start with Enaganti ji. You will have 30 minutes, and I think he will be using PowerPoint. Make yourself comfortable. Yeah. I will be prompting you when you have 5 minutes.
Born after the year 1995, Generation Z. Raise of hands. Okay, half the audience. How many of you Generation Alpha, born after 2010? Oh, okay. No, so since we are curious, right, we are in the age of Generation Beta since what? The last 5 days, right? Ever since 2025, Generation Beta. So the world is changing super fast, super quick, and a lot of things. So today, I'm going to talk my perspective on what I think is Bharatiya innovation, and take it with I want to hear your interesting thoughts on it as well. So, wait, sorry. Oh, yes, sorry. So if you ask me, let's start standard. Innovation, for me, very simple. Countries don't innovate, organizations don't innovate. It's people. Innovation, technology, any of it, all of it is based on one core thing, people. People are the core of innovation. And core of innovation is creative people, passionate people with the right mindset. So let me try to convince you why. So, I mean, India, Bharat, pride, as Ram Madhavji said, jingoism, all of this. When we say, hey, what are the greatest innovations India or Bharat did, right? Standard answers, right? We do. Zero, theory of numbers. Panini's grammar, which is what many praise as foundation of AI or whatever it is. Or yoga, a lifestyle. Or the 100 other things that people put in. If you ask me, I'll say, okay, they're good. But are they really the greatest things that India or Bharat has done? So if you look at it, right, leave India, if not Bharat. Some country would have developed it. Some civilization would have developed it. It's a natural flow of thing. Humanity requires it. Need is there. Necessity is there. Naturally, innovation occurs. But what I believe as a student of game theory is look at what is the kind of culture, what is the kind of ecosystem that drives innovation. So, Yes. So if you look at me, the greatest innovation that Bharat has done, okay, that has fostered technology is the mindset. Let me explain, right? So very standard thing that all of us have seen, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is one family. Karma theory, which is cause and effect. Or Buddha's simple thought, what is that? The root of all suffering is desire. Or the Upanishads, which is a very iterative system, right, of self-consciousness and reality, right? Why am I talking about this? So there is this German philosopher called Karl. So he coined the term called the axial age, which is basically where civilizations stopped looking inward, locally, and started thinking globally. And this was the time when these things started coming up. Yes, there are contentions, what was earlier, what was later. But these are the ideas I believe in are Bharat's greatest innovations. And let me tell you why. So, where do I point? Sorry. Oh, yeah. So if you actually look at it, what is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam all about? It's about collaboration. For me, I personally think living together with a family, building a family, and seeing the world as a family is all about collaboration. Cause and effect, karma theory. In game theory, we call it signaling games, but it is actually called accountability. If you look at Buddha's enlightenment, starting with one question, why, then following up that why with another why, that iterative approach. Or finally, you look at the Upanishads, it's nothing but questioning. And when you look at this, what I see is one simple blueprint for modern day innovation. That simple agile hypothesizing, testing, and pivoting. Okay? So, yes, a little confusing, but let me get to the deep of it. So, yesterday I was trying to say, okay, what do I say? What do I come? What do I speak? And then I said, okay, let me look at a few things. See, one approach, what I saw was, a lot of innovation in this world was driven by war. War is the biggest driver of necessity and innovation, right? So we look at computing. Turing, why was the Enigma machine built? To break World War II codes, right? Why was the internet invented, ARPANET? The US Defense Ministry wanted to communicate better. Why was penicillin discovered? Wartime soldiers were facing infections. You wanted to get more soldiers back into the war front. Penicillin came up. And nuclear, obvious, right? So when we look at this, what is it that India invented for peace, right? We can say. And it's not just India. So the axial age, just to tell you, it is not an unknown term. So you look at civilizations across the same term. All of them have looked at different innovations, which I believe has formed the foundation of technologies and today. So to get into it, right? So what everybody starts with before we get into this is some nice excuses. So yes. So one excuse we see, right, in today's thing, hey, we don't have enough money, we don't have enough opportunity, we don't have enough talent, we don't have enough network. Same questions I see a lot of times whenever I look at people, right? They say, hey, we need more freedom, we want more money, we need more, right? But I'm here to show you otherwise. So all of us have seen a urinal. Many of us have used it, right? So one of the interesting questions is, how do you create a splash-free urinal? Because when you use it, it creates a lot of mess. So a lot of engineers tried different shapes they created. So many things, different thing, innovation, engineering, so many things. One Amsterdam airport manager, where do I point this towards? This? No, where do I point? Oh, okay, sorry. Yes. So the one Amsterdam airport manager, he took one sticker of a fly and he stuck it on every single urinal. So what happened was people started aiming better, immediately reduced spillage by 80%. Cleaning costs also went down by 10%. Right? So there is no wrong solution when it comes to innovation. That is the first thing I want to say. Right? So creativity is the core of this. Very important. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to figure out where to. Yes. The second thing, right? So there was this famous story, soap company. Okay? They had this huge supply chain of soaps. Soaps are created, conveyor belt systems come, and then they're boxed and they're shipped off. But they faced one problem. Okay? There were some boxes without soaps in them, and they were shipping it off. So then, we have to fix this, obviously. Right? And they said, okay, what is the natural solution? So different people, different things. One person said, we'll put an X-ray machine. Whichever doesn't have a soap, we'll put a robotic arm, remove it. One other person said, we'll put a weight in the conveyor belt system itself. Let us innovate it. So during this time, they came up with different solutions. They kept some few people on site to make sure that the problem doesn't happen. And you know what these people did? They kept one fan right next to the conveyor belt. So what happens to the empty soap boxes? They fly out of the conveyor belt, right? So simple solutions are sometimes the hardest solutions, if you ask me. So, and you know, the famous Bill Gates quote, so I'm not going to go into it. But this is what innovation, if you ask me, is that mindset. That is what is the core of all of this. So coming back to it, cars. Many of you might love cars here. So if you want to build the best car in the world, how would you do it? So maybe let's take the best car engine. Anybody know which company? Best car engine? Rolls-Royce? Okay. Best chassis? Maybe Audi. Best fuselage? BMW. Maybe best body? Mercedes. So if I put this all together, will I get the best car in the world? No. I'll get the only car in the world that doesn't even start. Right? So it isn't about putting in the best ideas, the best things. No. As I say, no, Just because you know tomato is a fruit doesn't mean you put it in a fruit salad, right? So it is about the learning. That's what I'm saying. Innovation is a mindset. So, yes. Oof. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So, frugality, again, coming to the money thing. So, there was this laser pointer machine, okay? So, it used to be called an oscilloscope. Before the oscilloscope, it was something. So, what it does is, you spin the laser super fast to create a pattern on the screen. So, you rotate it really fast, you can create a circle. You rotate it in a very interesting angle, you can... So, that machine used to cost around over $1 million, right? Very expensive. So immediately the natural solution that a NUS university came up with, Lissajous curves in mathematics are one famous concept. So they took one PVC pipe, put one balloon on it, and put one mirror on it. And then they spoke into it. Whatever frequency the mirror vibrated at that frequency, they put one laser on the mirror, and it creates these simple patterns called Lissajous patterns. You can go try it at home. Instead of $1 million, you can do it for 20 rupees at home today. So this is what innovation is about. You don't need cost, you don't need money, you don't need all of these things. So coming to it, right? Why I'm coming to all of this is, we look at this picture and we're all very proud as, okay, hey, today, man, we have so many unicorns, right? But what is common in all of these unicorns? You know, this picture actually angers me a little. One thing, what I see every time when I see these unicorns, they're all SaaS companies. So what is a SaaS company? It's a service company. It is not a deep technology company. So what is Swiggy or Zomato today? Is there any deep technology? No. You are connecting people across through software as a service, right? So this is the, if you ask me today, India today is innovating in two things very well. Space and medical. But what about the rest? It's not that we cannot do it. Deep technology is not a race, it is a marathon. It takes a lot of time. I don't know how many of you have seen the startup curve. When you start up something, it feels very exciting, let's do it. But very immediately it dips. It is a hard journey that takes a lot of time before it actually picks off. And the simplest example I can give you for this is, 9 mothers cannot make a baby in 1 month, no matter how hard you try. Okay? So deep tech takes time. Right? So innovation, whatever we call it, right? Transformation, social innovation, it is all about the mindset. The mindset is the most important thing in this. And let me tell you, what is that Indian mindset? Let's explore, right? So if you ask me, we have seen these common shlokas. I'm pretty sure everybody has a WhatsApp and has received forwards, right? So we have seen Bodhayana Sutra or the value of pi. Great. Yes, Aryabhatta was a great thinker, great innovator. He discovered up to 32 decimal points, which is not at that time, it was no easy feat. But I'll say, if not Bharat, somebody else would have done it. The Greeks also have done it to a certain extent. But what is truly important, the difference in the mindset, if you ask me, is in this one innovation. Yes. In this one shloka, when I see it, right? Om Purna Madha Purna Midam. What does it describe? It describes infinity plus infinity is still infinity. Infinity minus infinity is still infinity. Right? Or you take away infinity from infinity, it's still infinity. This, why I'm getting to it, it shows a very different mindset altogether. And let me explain. So Earth's radius, what is Earth's radius? So what is Earth's circumference? It's around 40,000 kilometers, right? How did people in the ancient world discover this? Man in Greece, Eratosthenes, he put 2 sticks 800 kilometers apart. Okay? At the same day, he saw what is the shadow's difference. Automatically, little trigonometry, and he was able to solve it. He got it within 1% accuracy. Great. Same thing. It is not that Bharat didn't do it. We did it. Aryabhatta, Varamira, Bhaskaracharya. But if you ask who discovered radius of Earth in India, you won't get one answer. You'll get the answer that it was a collective wisdom. That is what I am trying to think. Here it is singular. Here it is iterative and collective. there's a very big difference in mindset. Here, naturally, it rises to something called patents, recognition, disciplines. What is the natural thing there? Community research, open source, transdisciplinary. You don't discover the beauty of mathematics for what? You don't discover it for just the beauty of mathematics. You do it for poetry. You do it for astronomy. You do it for all of this together. So that's what I'm saying. Let us truly understand what is the mindset and where this mindset comes. And the mindset comes from culture. So anybody who's interested in how to do this calculation, there are many methods. Very fun. You can go to the beach today and you can do it. It will take you, right? You can just search horizon method, two-stick method, mountain method. You don't need even a calculator, right? So, but the reason I'm coming to all of this is, the culture is what drives the mindset, which is what drives innovation. So I hope I'm not boring you, but I'll get into some more stories. So I don't know how many of you have heard of this story. So there was one, since warplanes, World War II, a lot of warplanes came back after fighting a war, okay? They came back. The army generals are like, okay, there are bullets holes in the planes. We need to put armor on them and make them stronger. So what did they do? They called a mathematician. His name was Walt, okay? So he comes and they say, so this is the survey we did. We found out bullets are scattered over here. We know we have to put armor, more armor here, more armor there. But we just don't know how much. Should we put 10 kgs, 2 kgs, 5 kgs? They didn't know. So they said, I know there is more bullet holes in the center of the planes, so let me put more armor here, there. The mathematicians looked at this, and what do you think his answer was? He said, you're absolutely wrong. You should put armor where there are no bullet holes. Let me explain. Of all the planes that came back, where they found bullet holes, he said, don't put armor where there are bullet holes. Put armor where there are no bullet holes. Why? We're looking at the planes that came back after war. When an enemy fighter shoots a plane, do they say, oh, they can aim. But usually in the sky, most of the time, it's a general shootout. It's uniformly hits. When a person comes back from war, will you find a person with a bullet in the heart? No, you'll find a bullet in the hand. So do you put more armor in the heart or the hand? So the thing is, the bullets that had hit in those critical points, those planes never came back. Are you able to see? This is called survivorship bias. We are looking at the things that happened. We are forgetting the things, what all led to what happening. That's what I'm saying. Culture is more important. Culture leading to mindset, leading to innovation. So this is called survivorship bias. There are many cases, from mutual funds to anything that we see today. Same thing happened in Berkeley, right? If you look at it, so there was a huge gender discrimination, 1973. Hey, you're letting in more men than women. Isn't this unfair, right? They said, oh, 44% men are applied, only 35% women. There is gender discrimination, okay? But the true story was, when they actually looked down into the numbers, every single course, women had a higher admission rate than men. So how did these numbers change up, right? So basically, women chose harder to get into courses. Men chose easier to get into courses. So you can see the first one, A, 800 applicants. More men applied, less women applied. But you look at the other one, C, which is harder to get in, only 37%, more women applied. So sometimes we have to look at the bigger picture, and we cannot say, hey, this is not true. Look at this data to explain that. What do I see? Each color is pointing upwards in that direction. But what happens when I merge all of it together? I get a wrong trend in the reverse direction. So this is called Simpson's paradox, or the Simpson effect, right? So why am I getting into all of this? Culture, very important. But to truly understand culture, we have to find out what is the right culture, right? So, and one last story before I get into the, So, British India, right? The Britishers hated cobras, naturally. So they came in and said, we want to get rid of the cobras. So what did they do? They announced a reward. They said 1 gold coin for every cobra that you bring in. Okay? So what do you think the Indians did? They started cobra farms. Okay? Natural. Yeah. The Britishers immediately found out, okay, they're bringing me cobras from cobra farms. Now what do I do? What did they do? They stopped the bounty. They stopped the reward. Now what did the Indians do? Naga Devata. They let all the cobras into the wild. The cobra population tripled. We can intend something else happens. Don't look for the solution. Start with the question. So this is called the cobra effect. And this is seen even in electrical cars today and fuel. Just by making fuel engines more efficient doesn't mean the price of fuel will go down. It actually increases. Because now when the fuel price is down, people drive more. And this is seen even in the electrical cars, right? So it's called Jevons paradox. People who have electrical cars, just because driving 1 kilometer is cheaper, drive more. Totally actually increasing the amount of fuel consumption overall and actually increasing the fuel price. So whatever we think we are doing, it actually has the reverse effect, right? So the right culture is very important to get the right mindset to lead to innovation. So let's do this. I just want to understand the crowd. So here's a simple challenge I have, okay? So COVID happened, right? I hope everybody remembers. I've forgotten. So COVID was there. You want to do testing in a situation like COVID. So what is COVID? When you do contact, it spreads, right? And I want to test in this situation. So I have 3 types of testing for you, okay? I want the audience to tell me which one is better. The first one, I choose random people in the audience and I test them. That was my first attempt. Second thing, I choose a random person in the audience. I choose a random friend of that person and then I test them. Second approach. And third thing, I choose families here and I test everybody in the family. Okay, 3 different approaches. Now I just want to see a simple show of hands. I hope you guys understood me. How many of you think the first approach is the most effective? Show of hands. Okay, maybe around 10 people. How many of you think the second approach is more useful? Okay, 30 people. How many of you think the third approach is more useful? Okay, 40 people. Okay, great. So the audience is very divided. So let me give you the answer. It's actually the second approach. In mathematics, there's something called the friendship paradox. So the thing is, not everybody meets the same number of people. Some people meet more people, some people meet less people. When I choose you and I choose a random person you met, I'm most likely choosing someone who has met a lot of people. So this comes from friendship paradox, which says, on average, your friends will have more friends than you. And why is this useful? This today is being used in the UK to detect flu 2 weeks in advance. They don't test random people. They take random people, they take their random contacts and they test them. Can you see the difference here? It's thinking of it as a community, thinking of it as a person, not as numbers and metrics. You can see the immediate difference in perspective, right? So that's the first thing. Let's look at a completely different challenge, okay? So all of us live in a house. Houses have numbers or a room, right? So they are either an odd numbered house or an even numbered house, correct? So if I found a random person in this auditorium and I said, what is the probability you live in an odd numbered house? Okay? Is it half, lesser than half, greater than half? I'm just going to ask you, how many of you think half? Okay, that's like 20. How many of you think greater than half? 5. How many think lesser than half? Maybe 2. Okay. So the thing is, the answer is, it is greater than half, odd numbered houses. Because always houses start with 1. Did you ever see a house starting with number 0? No. So in any community, the number of houses starting with odd numbered houses will always be greater than equal to even numbered houses. Simple thought, we forget the simple human characteristics, right? So when we start thinking more suited to the culture, that is where we can see what is the right mindset that leads to innovation. So yeah, let me skip this. Yes. So this one, very famous thing, biology thing. We all know about cancer, very big thing. So everybody gets cancer. That means every living creature in the world gets cancer, right? But one simple fact, blue whales, the biggest mammals on earth, they don't die of cancer. So what could the reason possibly be? They don't get cancer at all, number 1. Number 2, they get cancers, but their cancers get cancers, number 2. Or number 3, they can detect and automatically cleanse their cancers. Again, brief show of hands. How many of you think 1? Okay, some few people. How many think 2? Okay, how many of you think 3? Okay, much more. So this is very interesting. This is actually called Peto's paradox. Okay, so the thing is, every animal has the same size of animal cell, same chance of getting cancer. That means even blue whale has the same chance of getting cancer. But a blue whale is so big, for its cancer to become that big to kill it, by that time, that cancer will get a cancer of its own, and it will kill it. So it's called a metatumor. And why is this very important? We have heard, how do you kill the collective? That is where the collective mindset and the collective culture comes in. When you get in more people, errors reduce, chances of destruction reduce, harmony automatically reduce. And I'm saying it is not a word. You've seen it in nature, right? Cancerous elements, toxicity naturally reduces. So what is more important is not just the culture. It is an open and collective culture that leads to the questioning mindset, which leads to innovation. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm going to wrap up. So if you look at Bharatiya innovation, yes, we have Swiggy, Zomato, all of that, copies of China and the US. The true innovations, if you see, it is all about introspection. It is about the collective. And it is about, most importantly, the greater good. You look at, we had UPI. It is a very people-centric collective innovation. We have Amul, the cooperative. And this is a culture which could think of infinity when everybody else were thinking of guns or bows and arrows, right? How does this come? It comes from the culture. And yes, so this is what I'm trying to put forward. So all of you know this turmeric story, I think. So what? Mississippi Medical Center, they patented turmeric as a antiseptic, and they got the patent. Obviously, CSIR fought it, they won it. And what? It said, it's an ancient art that was been there for a long time. So here itself, we can see the difference in culture. So don't try to appropriate other cultures. I'm saying you have to live your culture. When there is a culture on one side which says, hey, this is a native art which is used everywhere. On the other side, we want to patent it, right? Two distinct cultures. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's possible to innovate. Indian Bharatiya innovation, it is there, it's happening. But we should not begin with an answer. We should begin with a question. Very important. You should not think, oh, brain drain, just like Ram Madhav ji said. We have to think of it as outreach, the collective. We cannot just say, oh, jugaad, jugaad, jugaad. No, we have to think of culture and community. And most importantly, let us not say it is ours, it is ours, it is ours. It is never Indian culture to say, hey, we did it, we did it. No, we have always been open source, and that is a good thing, and we should embrace it. And most importantly, let's trade patents for culture of open source. And today, Tesla, SpaceX, biggest companies in the world, Elon Musk, not a single patent. They're saying the best way for humanity to get to Mars is if everybody knows how we make it, but we will do it better. Be so bold to say, I will show you how I do it, but I know I will do it better. And saying that is the confidence. And I'm saying that is the mindset, that is the culture that we have to do. So I wrap up with this session by saying, yes, I'm always looking for passionate people. If you're ever interested, feel free to come, contact me, and we will always reach out. Thank you.
Innovative thinking, stressing on questions rather than answers, as well as combined effort towards socially beneficial innovations. Thanks for a wonderful talk. Now may I invite today's second speaker, Mr. Yadnyanarayan Kammaje sir, to deliver his guest lecture.
So I don't have anything to show off, meaning that, this one. Thanks very much for the Prabuddha Bharat team to invite me from the industry paternity. So like the chief guest Ram Madhav said, everything is fine with collaboration, everything is fine with smiling each other. In his own terms he said, but I'm saying smiling each other. So that is happening in the industry. That is happening in the industry with the collaboration, with the invent of communications through internet. So, giving this preface, I will make the 25 minutes of my speech, 5 minutes history, 10 minutes what has happened from 47 to now, and then 5 minutes of my astrological philosophy of next 10 years, what's going to happen in the world. So if there is anything, you can stop me, takkanda, if I am giving any undue, things like that. So in 1947, India went through a very hardship. There was only 45 crore people around that time. And we have been jungled up by the NAM or the strategic, whatever he said. So neither we knew how to be with the America, nor we knew how to be with the Russia. And they were fighting, and the whole world was in a mess in that during that time. When I passed out my engineering in 1971, there was a war going on in the Bangladesh time. Earlier we had another 2 wars. By the way, I am 75, so I have a historical way of giving you the story. So, and at the age 1971, when I passed out Bachelor of Engineering with the rank, my friend Ram Bandare would know that we are not getting 250 rupees job at that time. It was so difficult, even with the 45 crore population or 60, 70 crore population. So I have seen the ambassador car at the age of 16. Imagine. I have not traveled capital of my state up to the age of 20. Why I am telling you, this is the state of affair of a country at that time. Now, we have struggled, we are depending upon food from others. Although our country was named as an agriculture-based country, we were importing wheat, we were importing everything during that time, including sugar, including the oil, everything. Fortunately, 1971 and 1991, when industries have opened up, liberalized, so some entrepreneurs who took some vigorous risk-taking ability, then found how to create wealth for themselves and for the society. Until then, what's happening is, fortunately, I'm telling you, even with that kind of a difficulty, I started my business in 1987. There were about 15 inspectors were coming, what you are doing. They were not asking how to do better. They were only asking why you are doing and how you are doing, why not you do it like this, so that they were able to control you. If I wanted to do something more, they will say, don't do it more. I had a lot of businesses, but I am constrained to doing expansion and during that time. Because the entrepreneurs found it very difficult to do business, they have not put in. My boss, former Sanjeev Reddy's brother was my boss. So he was telling, Yadnyanarayan, you are taking a risk, you are leaving HMT. How difficult it is to manage people? Somebody said, managing people is a difficult thing. Managing people was really difficult. The unions were so important in Bangalore, it was not possible for anybody. Then I told him, wherever there is an entry barrier for business, difficult to enter that kind of a situation, you have to be in that business. You understand what I'm saying? For 100 fellows to make it difficult, so you should enter. So that is the mindset I had. If there is a problem for 100 people to enter do business, so I will be the winner if I solve that difficulty. So that's how we started. Some of us have started, like Bandare and me and many people here around. We started the business. So union was not an issue if you take care of the people. So my mantra was, I have come with nothing. I am nothing when I came to Bangalore. Whatever I do, it is a plus. And if people wanted everything, think that this is yours. It's not mine. Forget it. Simple. So like that, the country has gone in. So that 91 liberalization made lot of people to do business. The ambassador car has gone away with hundreds of types of cars now today. And supposing you imagine in 1 second that close your eyes and say there is no internet in this world. What would happen today? There is no internet, there is no WhatsApp. what you people will think. How to spend time, how do I go from here to there, how do I use Uber, how do I not get a driver, how do I not communicate. So world would have been in a totally mess, although the internet is invented for the defense purposes, but the beneficiary of that invention was the people, the 8 billion people in this world. In 70s and 80s and 90s, if you have to take 100 rupees from your own account, you need to spend 2 hours going to a branch and then take the cash. Today, absolutely no issue. Everybody knows, even whether you have gone to college or you have gone to school, you have not gone to a school, now know how to. So your bank is in your purse. That is the total change happened world over, but more so in the last 15 years of this country, 10, 12 years of. In fact, I should not say that. It is Modi's vision that made all of us, that 140 crore people, to make use of the technology to this situation. Now coming to, we are only $1 trillion GDP in the year 1960, 70, something like 80, something like that. In 30 years, we have made it to $2 trillion. It took 30 years to make a $2 trillion GDP. Next 1 trillion came in 9 years. Today we are in around 3.6, they say, but it is almost like a $4 trillion economy. How did we grow? We are the people who have been in the process of that growing this country's GDP. Although Ram Madhav said the per capita GDP is a concern. It's a really concern. The poorest of the poor in the triangle are not growing. So about 5% of the people in this country are really living in a luxury, living in the happiest moment of their life. But what do we do with the 60% of the bottommost? That is where the invention, creativity, all these want to come and then help this country. That is what going to be the Prabuddha Bharat. You have got lot of scope for improvement. In next 10 years, if we have to be 3.6 trillion to 10 trillion, every one of us will have to go 3 times. Not only income, the ecosystem, the happiness index, the smiling index I call everybody, the hygienic index. So there is so much of work to be done by the entrepreneurs, by the creative people, and by the businessmen. You also know that the culture is creating an ecosystem of growth in this country. Like what you were telling very nicely, the culture is making all of us happy. I believe in it. Also, we believe in borrowing certain way of entrepreneurship from abroad. What I am saying to tell is, we were very, very small thinkers during our initial years. We cannot think big because we are scared. If I think big, can I sell? Can I reduce my inventories? Can I make a product, and if it doesn't sell, do you think it is going to be a problem? That kind of a thing. If I make more number of pieces or more services, the bank managers who have given the credit, we are going to be in trouble. So this kind of narrow thinking was there, but it has changed totally. The last 10 to 15 years, the entrepreneurs, what he has seen that he has shown the unicorns. Every other month we are producing some unicorns. What is unicorns? Some 10 crore, 100 crore turnover, or whatever the definition. People at the age of 21, they are talking about 100 crores. So that kind of a mindset change has happened by the ecosystem of political leadership, bureaucratic theme. Of course, one thing I am not happy still with the judiciary, which has to be reformed. Now, these 3 things work in unison. I think there is a Prabuddha Bharat is already happened. So that is my estimate of things. You see, imagine what has happened in the 70s. There were only 2 countries of name in the world, that is America and Russia, because they were militarily powerful. After this 1945 war, 1917, 1918 war, the importance given only to America and Russia because they are more powerful. Come 90s, everybody thought this war is enough. We have to be economically strong. How do we become economically strong? The Japan emperor gave a call that all my products produced in Japan should be acceptable in the most developed countries and zero defect challenge. When my father used to say, if it is a Japan, throw it. That was the mindset with my father. That means they will not do a good job. That is the kind of mindset they had. But one emperor, one leader has given a call to the nation, and he changed that Japan into a powerful commercial economic power. Likewise the German fellows also were in deep trouble, and the Germany and Japan is a role model for any countries in the world to become economically strong, because they have gone in for quality, they were gone in for technology. Now come 2000, in the year 2000, you see, I'm saying military power, economic strength, then you come to the 2000, the knowledge power is replacing both these fellows. We are not talking about military. We are not talking about any money. We are talking about the knowledge. Whomever is having, Israel is being talked about, India is being talked about. Fortunately for India, there is one myth has come, Y2K. Because of that Y2K, otherwise Infosys, TCS and Wipros would not have been doing this kind of business. There was only Y2K, very simple. Actually, they were solving 0, that's all, finish. But it became such a beautiful steps in this country to have so many people started software companies in spite of not data communication equipments were not there. That is the mindset of our people changed during that time. Thanks to people like Narayan Murthy, Premji and the TCS, Ratan Tata, JRD Tatas, this country's image with the entrepreneurs have changed. Have we changed? So SMEs will have to change. I think surely some of these SMEs will be there from the Laghu Udyoga Bharati. Think slightly bigger than what we are thinking today. That is my small message. Think slightly bigger. The world is so big, 8 billion people. And their quality of life has to change delta X, very small thing. Imagine our own country. When I came to Belgaum, I was envying you yesterday. Because in Bangalore, we are having so much a problem of transportation. I don't have a footpath to walk. There is no innovation, no creativity in improving that kind of ecosystem in Bangalore. Whereas in Belgaum, it's so neat, very nice. See, Modi has made, that Modi ji has got so much of thinking process. First 6 months is at Swachh Bharat. We were so upset about this country's hygienic and the cleanliness. But we were thinking when Prime Minister is talking Swachh Bharat, cleaning the road and all that. Today we are seeing the effect of that 10 years later. I go to Indore, it's the best country. Can you imagine a North Indian city becoming so clean? Can we think Belgaum so clean? I went to Vijayawada, it is Visakhapatnam, such a wonderful seashore, so neat and clean. We are not actually proud of what we are doing and improving of the next 10 years. We are talking something rubbish. We have to feel proud that we have totally done so much good for this country, so much for the hygienic, so much of the health care. So these are the things what I am saying is the Prabuddha Bharat messaging, awareness to the people. We have to be proud of what we have done the last 10, 15 years, from 91 onwards. So economic strength to come to $10 trillion, what are we supposed to do? We have to think big, we have to innovate, we have to create new ideas, we have to be number one excellence in the world. Now the game theory, whatever, the area where we are playing is not only India. It was only earlier we are only playing in India. Now the field has gone to the world. So what we do today here, what we do something somewhere in Germany, it will happen in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. That's what I was telling. Even in India, you have one nice product to be developed. The Rajkot people will do it in another 3 days. So we have in India, there is so much of creativity and manufacturing capabilities and the people's mind. So this one, these are some ideas I'm saying. So next, take this same type of business for further. So there are things what we are talking is, one is the communication is improving, digital infrastructure improving, people's way of life, way of thinking, of managing your own household and your own things are happening and changing. What is required today is in the process of attitudes. We have to have a $10 trillion business. We need to change the attitudes of ourselves and our next generation. What is an attitude? So we have focused a lot of our focus on intelligence. So if it is an IIT, NIT and that kind of a thing, they are intelligent people, recruit them. But today it is changing. The attitude is more important. You should have fundamental creative thinking, actually intelligence level, IQ, etc. Okay, but attitudes are missing in the next generation or the present generation. So as a parents, as the teachers, I see lots of professors, the attitude. What is a good attitude? Good attitude is samskara, feel humanity, feel good, smile at people, collaborate with the people. So there are so many people who doesn't want to even talk to their peers. Talk to their own peers means the department to department or in the government section, or if some people are going the arrogant way of treating the other human, that is not good. That is what is going to have a problem. So I am almost like a strength, weakness, opportunity, threat I am making. The culture is good. We are good. We have got Upanishads, we have got Vedas, we have been told how to behave. Everything is there. But we have to practically put it. The strength, plenty of strength in this country. So our intelligence is there, we are working, we are hard working, we are everything. Opportunities are plenty because we are opening up to the whole world. So in fact, Mr. Sitaram, the chairman of ICT that day said, we are producing 3.5 million engineers and technicians in this country every year. 3.5 million, that is 35 lakh people, engineers and diplomas and ITI fellows are coming. What do we do? What do we do? I said, last year also you have produced 20 lakh people. Previous year also you have produced 20 lakh people. So it is not that all these 25 lakh people will be utilized only in India, only in Bangalore, only in Delhi. No. They are required all over the world. Like what was said is, we are now looking Vishwaguru and that kind of a thing, you know. So we are producing, like we are producing some product, we are producing some intelligent engineers. In fact, very happy thing to note is, earlier only NIT, IIT, all this kind of a thing. Now there are some private colleges are producing much better engineers. They have got IQ, EQ and attitude, both clubbed together. That is a beautiful holistic engineer. That is a holistic good doctors. There are holistic postgraduates and doctorates. So it is a very happy situation today that we don't have any resource crunch. Although some people in the channel, though employability is a problem. Actually, it's not an employability problem. I tell you what, I have more than 1,000 people in my factory. There are 500 fellows every year going away. Workers, I am saying, workers. But there are another 500 fellows are coming from Bihar, Orissa and West Bengal and then this kind of people. I train them in 1 week with the same precision that they have been doing the previous year. That means it is possible today's world to train exactly what they have done in about 2 months. We are in a very precision manufacturing. We are making watches. Watch components, most of us cannot even see the watch component. And we are producing 20 lakh watches in our small scale industry. That means it is possible. People were thinking, oh, watch, you cannot do it, man. Most of my seniors were saying, no, it is very difficult to make. Only Japanese can make and Swiss fellows can make and all that kind of a thing. Come, today I am saying India can do better than the Swiss watches. I am not joking, better than Swiss watches. I am giving an example. We are making all the watch component except the inside. Watch straps. How did you start the business? Some people are saying at that time. We made a gap analysis. What is available? What is that is we can do it. What is available, what can be done, what is required in the market. That gap gives you a feeling of what you can do in life. You have everything in products, services, medical, chartered accountancy, lawyers, everything is possible. But there is one threat coming in. Most of the jobs will have a threat from the artificial intelligence, because today code writing, half of it will be done by the artificial intelligence. Today, legal systems, supposing a lawyer, if the lawyers are here, I tell you, if they have taken 1 week for drafting a 2-page note, the artificial intelligence will give you in 1 minute. Exactly same thing. In fact, better English, better format. So that is a threat. But that particular profession should see to it that how to live with the artificial intelligence and cater to the people. First of all, satisfaction of the customer is very important. Now you come to the energy level, for example. The energy requirement, 1,100 kilowatt per person average here, compared to 11,890 units of USA. That means that's a big gap of energy, even today. Of course, it's much better. In 1989, when we started, half of the time we didn't have current. There were no current at all. Now it is much better. The industries are running. But still, there's so much of gap. Okay, now energy cost, that is another problem. Energy cost is about 8 rupees. Now we want it up to 2 rupees. How do we do it? Thanks to the vision of Mr. Modi ji in Gujarat, at 14 rupees he bought solar energy. Can you imagine? Everybody should have said he's mad. 14 rupees he started. But it gave a momentous to most of the people to go to solar. Today the solar cost is 2 rupees. Now the problem, some people will say, what will happen, what will happen? 2 rupees energy is coming, but everybody is questioning 2 rupees energy is only when the sun is there. So we want it throughout 24 hours. Now people are thinking that energy can we convert into storage energy. How does it possible? Now use that solar energy, convert water into hydrogen and oxygen, store hydrogen like the CNG. So that project is going on very speed. Like Mr. Gadkari keep on telling that I'm driving car. So next 10 years, not even EV car, the hydrogen car will be superseding the EV cars. The EV car itself, the energy saving is from 10 km per liter to 25 km per unit of energy. That means you are saving so much of power. That means you are saving of import of diesel or the petrol. So one-sidedly we are reducing the energy imports, saving the foreign exchange. Another side, you are creating from a zero raw material cost, that is sun, convert that into hydrogen, and believe me, in 10 to 15 years, we may be an exporter of this kind of energy to the other countries. This hydrogen may be converted into this. So this kind of opportunity of technology to be catered to the whole world will exist. I missed one thing. The digital infrastructure what we have today is almost contemporary of the whole world. I've been traveling so many places, but the digital infrastructure of this country is much better than even in USA. See, I cannot transfer money in USA. It's very difficult. These Paytms and the Google Pays are so easy. I mean, even in America, it is very difficult. Sort of things, it doesn't work sometimes, it does work sometimes. So many things are happening. So many countries are not. And because of that powerful brand creation in these UPIs, as he promised, as he said, the whole world is looking for India to get that. Thanks to Nandan Nilekani of that Aadhaar and the UPI, so much of corruption has been reduced, direct. So these kind of innovative systems and methodology and accepted by the political system is a great boom for this country. So there is one side, there is a threat of the technology for section of the people, but there is a lot of opportunities for the section of the same technology to the other people. So there is a strength, so much of strength of this country, opportunities, abundant opportunities, but the geographical, I am still not convinced about many of the answers by Ram Madhavji. the geographical conflicts, one geographical conflict can create havoc in the economy of the country. It will happen. It is happening. Now, we are not waiting for a war. Of course, we are not mongers, warmongers, like he said. But if it happens, how does an investor think about it? How will they accept that kind of a thing about it? Like, for example, I should give examples. Think big. Ambanis and Adanis are thinking very big. Like, for example, you are also creating a lot of enmity around us. When you are thinking big, in a small way also I can say, in a small way, I am producing a lot of enmities around me. So how do you solve that kind of a problem? So Adani, so many projects will go bankrupt today. So one is the Bangladesh, another the Israel, another port somewhere. You should have the stamina and the sustainability factor in your mind to think so big. Even if there is a problem, I will be able to solve that problem. That is the greatest decision making for an entrepreneur. And so now Ram Madhav said all that in 20 minutes. He said there's one word of economic strength. Sir, 5 minutes. Yeah. I'm closing down. So everything is fine. Strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. Lot of people have to do business. Lot of people have to give GST. So Madam Sita Raman is very happy with 1.75 lakh crores of business. But the inflation is happening. The poor man on the ground is really under stress. And I think the equality has to be improved. The rich becoming very rich and the bottom people are becoming very poor is not acceptable. So that is where our effort of many efforts are happening in a small way. I am telling you, the RSS wings, so many wings like Youth for Seva, going to the villages and improving that hygiene, improving that school, improving the methodology of schooling. The school, the classrooms are being upgraded. So I am little associated with them. I am also associated with this one, the Abhyudaya program, where RSS is doing in Pan India, from the slum, poor children are becoming the educated, good education is being given, the tuitions are being given, like that health. There's a lot of Rashtrautana Parishad health schemes are happening. So like that, there is so much, plenty of work to be done. A selfless service, a selfless work through this kind of organization, we are creating also a lot of leaders. You see, the leadership is not in by making money for yourself. Leadership is in making a selfless service to the social connect. That becomes a great venture in this country, and I think it's going to prove a lot. And $10 trillion divided by 140 crore people will become $6,000 GDP. At that time, we are also competing with many of the developing countries, much better than what it is today. And 3.5 million engineers coming out next 10 years, maybe 2 million engineers. I'm saying geographically it is required because the Japan is aging and there won't be anybody in Japan in next 20 years. So if Japan has to survive, you need people, of the good people. If Germany has to survive, you need good people. If there is you see, all these countries are 1.2 generation. One couple is producing 1.2 children is not enough. So the sustaining, the whole world can sustain with the 2.1 birth rate. It is happening only in one pockets, not even in India. 2.1 generation. Some communities are making that 2.1. But that is not the kind, one small community only producing 2.1 plus. So that is not going to be, it's skewed geographical problems. So we need to have I cannot call, I'm not such a senior that I can call like Mohan Bhagavat says, you produce 3 children. But the Hindus will have to stress ourselves that to produce more of the Hindu intellectual communities. That will give the Prabhupada 10 million, $6,000 per head, and you will be the whole, creating a whole world will be catered by our ingenuity, our healthcare, our nurses, our engineers for innovation. With these few words, we have next 10 years we are going to be a fantastic country. Third, I think we may surpass, in my opinion, even third state to second state in the next 25 years. Thank you very much.
Yadnyanarayan sir, for that wonderful yesterday, today, and tomorrow's perspective of how industrial innovation is contributing to India's growth, and also how first generation entrepreneurs have shown innovation is possible whenever there is intent. Nothing is impossible. Thank you very much for that session. We have, I think, time for question answer. Yeah. So we may be running out of the time, but we'll do justice to this very, very interesting talks. We will now open the session for questions. Anybody from audience can direct the questions, or I will help you out. Please introduce and ask the questions.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Rajshekhar Biradar from Bilingual Oxford Science College. I'm working as a principal. So my question is to Yadnyanarayan, sir. So how do you look at the Make in India initiative of our current government, and how is it benefiting our innovation space, and how the world looks at it?
This make, hello?
Can hear.
The Make in India is being branded recently. Otherwise, the Make in India thrust is happening in a very small way from 91 itself. It is called import substitution. So we are all the beneficiary of that program of import substitution. The government of India, there is one department called DGTD, which said if you have to import one XYZ product, you have to give me a phased manufacturing program. That means you will have to make it in India, this. Same thing is now being done by the government, the present government, in a big way. They will give PLI scheme, big assistance to the big companies. They have to produce the car, for example. So 50% has to be imported, supposing. Then 50% has to be done in the 3 years in this town. So that is giving lot of employment potential. And there is a stress for the manufacturing companies to produce these components, integrated those components here. For example, I tell you, Apple is producing almost their 50% of the product here in India within the last 3 to 4 years. So there are 60,000 men and women are working in Hosur area making Apple iPhones and exporting. Do you know $100 billion is the target for this kind of products like Apple, Samsung, and this kind of electronic. And the $10 billion worth of capex is putting in the semiconductor industry in the next 3 years. So in next 10th year, we are not only producing $100 billion worth of this thing, another export of $100 billion will happen in this semiconductor and the manufacturing activities. As for your information, we are now $140 billion export of software, if I am right, about 100. So your export is going high, your foreign exchange is going high. So Atmanirbhar Bharat is helping us in indigenous production and export production. For example, I handholded one small CNC manufacturing company. So we were making about 3 crores of components. Last 10 years, I handhold him for some financially here and there, etc. Now they are having 60 crore worth of business. Out of that, 30 crore is being exported to Germany and America and Italy. So your question, very pertinent question. It is really helping every small scale industry, provided he has the vision to get that market. See, some people are so scared about taking the market itself. So you will also, risk taking is very important because you don't know. Supposing you export one container to Turkey and that there is no LC, then you are taking a big risk. One container money will not come from Turkey. So you will have to be very careful in this international business. Otherwise, but I also tell you there is a problem. Not that I am saying infrastructure is the biggest issue even today. In fact, I told you, Bangalore is a problem. Bangalore, nearby Bangalore, the industrial estates are the problem. And there are all, a lot of problems are there. But business is happening. But that policy is really good. That PLI scheme is very good. And employment, for example, I tell you, I think many people may not knowing. After the COVID, the government of India has made, if you employ 100 people, if you immediately join them in your in the attendance sheet, the provident fund portion of the employees' provident fund portion is being subsidized by the government to SMEs. And SMEs have given 20% more working capital during that 3 years. So like that, this government is giving lot of help, but still SMEs are not focused very thoroughly. They are only focusing on big companies. I have a grouse. We are putting up a lot of proposals, but SMEs are not being treated in the same treatment as the big companies.
Namaste, sir. Vishal Gaurgunda. As Yadnyanarayan said, Yadnyanarayan sir said, there is a production of more engineers, but there is a feel of that whether those engineers are employable. You are telling that there are many employment opportunities. There is some disconnect between what I'm going to say industry requires and what is being produced from the colleges or institutions. I want panel's view on this issue. Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me? Yeah. So my simple take on that is, yeah, I don't come with as much experience as this man. I'll give you my take on this. So yes, you're right. India does produce a lot of engineers. They're nowhere near qualified. One simple reason is the way we produce engineers comes from the industrial era, the automation line. Why was there the whole education system, everything that is taught? What is it? It was to create people to go work in factories or in the supply chain, right? A more automated era. But today the world, as we are clearly seeing, is moving towards 3 new economies: the cultural economy, the experiential economy, and the creative economy. So that is those are not the words that I made up, you can just search it up. Those 3 are the 3 economies that drive anything. So even in this AI era and everything, these 3 ones are the ones that will survive, right? Whether it's the influencer era or any of this. So how to make them more sustainable? It is not up to the engineers to make them more, just because you create 100 more engineers that are capable doesn't mean that will automatically translate into jobs. So as you said, AI is taking over, right? But what are the 3 fundamental things in AI that are taking over? What goes into making an AI, right? If you look at it fundamentally, there are 3 basic things. There's the foundational model, there is the computing power, and then there's the data, right? You create engineers, but what can India really compete on? Can we compete on the foundational model today? Maybe, maybe not. Most likely it's not, because they're leagues ahead. Can we compete on the computation power? Do you know how complex from Taiwan to Switzerland, Swiss makes the machine that makes the machines that make GPUs? So there are 4 specific companies, from Taiwan Semiconductors to NVIDIA, all the way down to Swiss. So getting into that, and semiconductor industry, if you ask me, it is the one that takes the most amount of water. The most amount of water today. And in India, water is a huge crisis. So how much water can we truly sustain, right? So those 2 are out. So what is the 3rd thing that we can really work on? It's data. And that is the one thing that we should focus on. So it's not about just creating better engineers. It's about creating more relevant engineers, is my suggestion. And that is all comes from the mindset. We have to learn to take more risks. Step out of what is the lines drawn in the ground by British. I'm not blaming the British, but I'm saying there are the education system is an automation line. You cannot take automation line and put them into the creative economy. In this age of data and everything, a creative economy, you need people who are willing to step outside the line. And that's the only way, is my thought.
My question, a direct answer is, when I studied, there were 17 engineering colleges throughout the Karnataka. The demand and supply was such that it was just enough. Now we have got 182 or 200 engineering colleges in Karnataka. We have produced 2 lakh engineers. But some people like Mohan Das Pai say that employability is a problem. It is not that you just pick up and then make you fellows. So you will have to keep training them, correct? So most of the industries have got a problem. They wanted ready-made engineers. So there is nothing called ready-made engineers. You have to recruit them, train them, make them useful to you. That is one thing. So another thing is, just because you have studied engineering, you don't have to go only on artificial intelligence, code writing or software. I met one boy, very smart boy. Somewhere he made an engineering degree. He came to some small village near Kunigal. He has involved himself with the social connect. The government school has been reformed as a nice, beautiful school by CSR funds from other places. His passion, his involving with that village as an engineer, he need not be doing only techie jobs, you know. Engineering is, one engineer, the definition you will have to keep changing to your students. It's a logical thinker, is an engineer. Please think this way. A logical thinker is a... So logical thinker has to find out what are the problems around you. If you solve the problems around you, problems around age-old people, problems around the youngsters, problems around the drug people, the liquor addicted people, everything is a problem. So engineer is a problem solver. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ನೀವು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೆ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಬಿ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನನಗೆ 25,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿದು ಇನ್ಫೋಸಿಸ್ ಜಾಬ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಟು ದ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್. Actually, that is one thing is the parents themselves are making a big mistake. My child should go into a college and then come out with the 10 lakh rupee package. That is the worst thing that can happen in life. You are putting a target just before that idea came in, you know. I cannot, I have a child, he has to get married, and then after he is getting married in 2 years, he has to produce a child, and that child I have to go to Stanford. These are like illusions. These illusions will not take you anywhere. His job is to make an engineer, he has to be a thinker, he should also try to get a job, not a problem. Jobs will, if it is good, he will get a job. In fact, today I am still confirming to you that I got 20 fellows engineers, I recruited, trained them. 18 of them have left in less than 6 months. What does that indicate? I take engineers, they are leaving. That means what does that indicate? It indicates that so much. In fact, I am now running, I told you, that formula. I take people, train them, use it for myself. I don't take any fresh engineers because they don't want to come. They don't, actually, half of the engineers coming out of the colleges are now not willing to work. I am telling you this. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we are running out of time. In the interest of time, we will have to move towards the concluding part. Before I go to the last part, can I request V.K. Patil sir to have some words on his experiences, especially in places like Belgaum, and I know you are associated with promoting, encouraging new startups. Very few words on that experience.
Very interesting session. We had a lot of thought-provoking ideas coming out. You know, I was really thrilled to, especially hearing sir with his experiences, and at this age he is still so enthusiastic. I am really thrilled, sir, about that. Belgaum as a Tier 2 city has a lot of opportunities. We have been trying to get a lot of companies to Belgaum. And Belgaum, I think we should be proud that we are the second largest exporter of Karnataka. I have seen companies, you know, who want to really expand. There are a lot of world-class companies out of Belgaum. But the biggest challenge everybody of them is facing is the land. I am part of, you know, Beyond Bangalore mission of Karnataka, but we see challenges, you know, creating infrastructure. That is one thing I think that this government has to, I mean, any government, not this government, say, have to concentrate to give fillip to the industries. Only when, you know, opportunities are there, the talent also remains in Tier 2 cities. Sir was talking about, you know, Bangalore becoming crowded and all those things. But ultimately, sir, everything boils down to the opportunities. So if we can create opportunities locally, a lot of talent will remain here, and these tier 2 cities also will thrive. But thank you very much for such a wonderful session. I am really pleased to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks to all the speakers as well as participants. Let me conclude by giving my concluding remarks. The session was very interestingly and aptly on the ethical innovation for societal welfare. Enaganti ji covered cultural aspect and importance of mindset in innovation. It was a wonderfully deliberated session and presentation, of course, with the importance highlighted on simplicity in innovation, which can change and bring disruption to many of the complex problems. Very well done. And Yadnyanarayan ji's presentations, of course, was more on intent, what is possible, unlimited opportunities, where we are going towards the time period where definitely India or Bharat is moving towards becoming Vishwaguru in all aspects, including innovation. My opinion, of course, I would like to sum up few of the aspects I think are essential for ethical innovation is to look towards values, imbibe cultural aspects as well as ethical aspects, moral aspects into innovations. Don't get into exploitation mode. Of course, it's necessary to utilize resources, but I think that the difference in making it ethical and non-ethical is knowing your limits, where to stop, where it starts damaging your surroundings, etc. I think that is very important aspect. I think the social aspect as a beneficiary of these innovations is already has been initiated by wonderful schemes like corporate social responsibility. I think that part was not touched. It is a wonderful thing to have with corporates, that there is a responsibility, part of your profit you have to share on social welfare. I think ultimately more innovations lead to better profits, and those profits will ultimately lead to social welfare, I believe. That is an indirect way of bringing social welfare associated with corporate innovations. In short, there are two ways for all the young minds in this audience, as well as entrepreneurs or would be or willing to be entrepreneurs. You can be spark in the pan, or you can sparkle in the sky. The choice is yours. Choice is yours. And I think if you choose to go in the path of ethical business or ethical innovations and keep social aspect in mind, it's definitely possible to sparkle in the sky. The difference is whether you want to exploit and exit, which is typically most of the initial goals of all the startups we see, or you want to elevate and expand. This is the difference, and ethical innovation, I think, stresses on this aspect. Whether you want to go fast and finish, or you want to go far and flourish. This is a difference between ethical innovation and non-ethical innovation. Ultimately, profit is at the center of any corporate objective or business objective, but can we also think of welfare and impact as part of the other dimensions of doing innovation as part of business? And finally, any business keeps rupees or dollars at the center. Can we also think of keeping punya as part of the currency in deciding what we want to do, where we want to do? I am reminded of wonderful lines which I read. It's in Kannada. Allow me to do that as a closing remark. Gati irali, kruti irali, gatividiyalli miti irali, ನೀತಿ ಇರಲಿ, ಕರ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಧರ್ಮದ ಬಲೆ ಇರಲಿ, ಕಾರ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಭೀತಿ ಇರಲಿ, ಕಾರ್ಯವೈಖರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮಾಜದ ಸೆಲೆ ಇರಲಿ. I think these are the wonderful words. With that, we come to the end of this session. I thank one and all the dignitaries on the dais and participants, and thanks organizers for involving.
Yeah, thank you everyone for your participation and engagement. May the insights and knowledge gained today inspire and empower you in your future endeavors.